Hello plant family, welcome to Dutch Growers. My name is Jill Van Dijvendyk, and today I was shooting with Global and I brought my little toolkit from home from under my kitchen sink, and I thought I'd bring it to you at our Instagram and YouTube channel just to show you what's under my kitchen sink to keep me successful at home and to share some of these tips and tricks with you as well. So first off, we're going to start with watering. So what do I have in my toolkit for watering? I start with usually a small watering can. This just fits into my toolkit. Lightweight, I can take it around my house, get those little places like my kid's bedroom. I have a little snake plant, some of the bookshelves where I have some different succulents and some spider plants. So I can take this little watering can around. And then for my larger plants, I do have a larger watering can I keep in my garage, and that one works great for that as well too. When I'm watering, I always have these little saucers. Now normally you see these saucers to put under the bottom of your pots, but I keep these in my toolkit. They are great tools for taking with you to catch maybe even some of that extra water when you're watering. That just saves me a lot of time. And the other thing too is if I have lots of small plants, I'll bottom water them. So I'll actually stick a few plants onto a tray like this and then add some water into the tray, let it sit for a few minutes, and it will soak up from the bottom. This is actually a really good consistent way of watering. You can let your plants stay a little bit drier, a little bit longer, and then it soaks them up a little bit more thoroughly. So this is a great way to water. Remember, when you're watering your plants, you're checking your plants for water. You're not going around and watering everything every time you go water your plants. So sticking that finger into the soil up to your first knuckle. When it feels dry to the touch, then and only then is it time to water. So we tend to overwater our plants in the winter time. Remember, if you had any plants outside and you're bringing them in, you are watering a lot less. As well, we do not have as much daylight hours, and we'll touch a little bit on what does highlight and low light mean in another video as well too. So that would be watering. I also have another little tool, a little turkey baster. We call this a watering tool here at Dutch Growers. And I like these just for those smaller arrangements that may be covered with a top dress of rock. When you water and it just spills all over the place, this allows you to get more directional watering and little bits of watering at a time. Now remember, there's not a lot of water in here, so make sure you're giving your plants adequate enough of water with the turkey baster to make your plants so that they last all season long. Moisture meters are fantastic, so maybe you just need a little extra help determining if your plants are dry or not. This little moisture meter is great. You just stick it in the soil and it will show you if it needs water or not. So moisture meter is something I have in my toolkit. When I'm watering, that's when I add my fertilizer. In the winter months and the fall months, I don't fertilize as often. So maybe about once a month, I'll add my drops into my water. I keep one for my regular tropicals and houseplants and flowering plants. And then I also have one for my cactus and succulents. I'll maybe fertilize my cactus and succulents once throughout the winter season, and my regular tropicals maybe once a month through the winter season. So these are great products to have on hand as well. As far as bug control, fruit flies are always a big problem. Those are called fungus gnats. They have a few different stages of them, a larva stage and then an adult stage. These sticky sticks will catch the adult stage. So I'll usually pull one of these yellow sticky strips out, stick them in my plants or near my plants, and then they will catch all those adults. For the little larva stage that's in the soil, I'll cut up a piece of apple or a potato and I'll set it on the surface of my soil at nighttime, and then first thing in the morning, I'll remove that as well as the top into the soil. It draws them all to the surface, and that's how I'm gonna get those little larvas out. So there's a little tip and trick for you there. And then integrative pest management. So we're wanting to keep these little bugs at bay. So whether we have mealybug or spider mite or aphids, bugs are a natural thing to be on our houseplants. So remember that you aren't going to have a houseplant that has no bugs, but you're going to be wanting to watch them to make sure we're keeping them at a level which is controllable so they're not harming our plants. So Endol is a great product. It's a natural product. It's got canola oil in it as well as pyrethrin, which is from the chrysanthemum flower. It's the active ingredient that's going to kill those bugs. And I will check my plants about once a month. And then if I notice any spider mite or mealybug or even aphids on my plants, I will spray once, and I'll spray to the point that the plant is dripping. And then I will wait 10 days and I will do a second treatment. So Endol is really good to keep on hand. I always have a small bag of Promex. If I have 4 children, so sometimes they'll knock a plant over. I need to touch it up with a little bit of soil, or maybe I want to transplant one of those quick pots. I'll just set a little bit of newspaper out on the table, and then I have some soil ready at hand. And last but not least, I like to have a little cloth in here, and this cloth, you can just use any cloth, but I will always like to dust my plants off. Remember, in nature, the wind and the rain is naturally dusting your plants off so that photosynthesis can keep on happening. So this is really important to do as well. And this is a new item that I have added to my toolkit. It's the Moistify Mister. This is a really cool item, especially if you have air plants and calathea and those plants that like a little bit higher humidity. This mister is awesome. I'm just gonna turn it on here for you so you can just see how cool it is. It's such a fine mist. Now, when you're misting your plants, it is really important that you are doing a fine mist on your plant. If you are misting too heavily where there's heavy water droplets that aren't evaporating after about 30 seconds to a minute, you are gonna start getting water spots on your plants, especially if they're by a cool window with a draft. So that's a little tidbit there for you. So I hope you've enjoyed some of these tips of what's under my sink in my kitchen to help me care for my houseplants and keep me successful all winter long.